This week, we're covering the 2019 murder of Clark Atlanta University senior Alexis Crawford. It's a story of friendship, lust, jealousy, deception, and betrayal. It was a callous crime allegedly perpetrated by a couple that bonded over brutal murder.
Abnormia.
Welcome to Murder You, an Abnormia original. It's a true crime series that explores the most shocking murders worldwide. I'm your host, Maddie. Today's episode is A Killer Betrayal, the Murder of Alexis Crawford. Before we begin, please like and subscribe to our channel for all the latest Murder You content. Let's get started.
October 30th, 2019 was the last time Tammy Crawford had spoken to her daughter Alexis. The 21-year-old seemed in good spirits and laughed during their conversation, her mother told police. But the family hadn't heard from her in days. Now, their panic was accompanied by a sense of dread that something terrible had befallen their beloved Alexis. On Friday, November 1st, around 10:45 p.m., the Crawford family filed a missing persons report.
Exactly a week later, Alexis Crawford's body was found in a plastic bin that had been dumped at a local park. She had been discarded like a piece of trash by one of the people she trusted most in the world. Her promising life was cut short just before she was set to graduate from Clark Atlanta University. Alexis Crawford was born on December 23, 1997, and was one of 10 children. Yes, you heard that correctly. Her parents, Tammy Crawford and Bobby Wright, had their hands full with an even split of 5 boys and 5 girls in Athens, Georgia. But Alexis certainly made things easier by being a model child. Everyone knew her to be caring, kind, and respectful, which didn't stop her from being outspoken and independent. Her high school college advisor remembered Alexis as goal-oriented and dedicated to her studies. These qualities ultimately paid off when she was accepted into Clark Atlanta University. Clark Atlanta University is a prestigious school steeped in history and formed from 2 historically black colleges, or HBCUS. Atlanta University was founded in 1865 by the American Missionary Association, with subsequent assistance from the Freedmen's Bureau. It was the nation's first institution to award graduate degrees to African Americans. Clark College, founded in 1869, was the nation's first 4-year liberal arts college to serve a primarily African American student population. It was founded by the Freedmen's Aid Society of the Methodist Episcopal Church in 1869 as Clark University. On July 1, 1988, these 2 venerated institutions consolidated to become Clark Atlanta University. Today, it's one of the 4 elite historically black colleges that make up the Atlanta University Center Consortium, along with Spelman College, Morehouse College, and the Morehouse School of Medicine. With that kind of history, it's no wonder Alexis chose to attend Clark Atlanta University. Alexis declared criminal justice as her major, but after a few years, she added sociology as a double major, which undoubtedly impressed her family. Alexis made many meaningful friendships in school, including Jordan Jones. The girls grew so close that Alexis considered Jordan her best friend. Jones even spent several holidays with Alexis's family. In their senior year, the girls moved into an off-campus apartment together. Alexis and Jordan were excited to earn their degrees as roommates in spring 2020. Unfortunately, Alexis would never see that day. In October 2019, CAU students were preparing for the Halloween festivities that were always popular around the campus, preparing their costumes and scary movies. But for Alexis, the week leading up to Halloween became horrific in other ways. The Atlanta University Center, which CAU is part of, includes a small cluster of HBCU campuses, all within walking distance of each other. Spelman is a prestigious all-women's college, and Morehouse is a venerated all-men's school. On October 26, 2019, Morehouse and Spelman enjoyed their homecoming game. The annual Morehouse football game is part of the Spellhouse Homecoming, a joint celebration between Morehouse and Spelman. Homecoming games at major college campuses can get pretty wild, especially when you're old enough to drink. Alexis and Jordan were now 21 years old, so they went out and partied that night. According to Jones, she, Alexis, and Jones's boyfriend, Baron Brantley, were intoxicated when they returned to the girls' apartment that evening. Brantley was a 21-year-old aspiring rapper who didn't attend any of the Atlanta University Center colleges. Once the three settled in, they drank some more, but Jones began to feel sick, so she lay down for an hour. When she awoke, she realized Brantley and Alexis weren't in the living room. Jones searched the apartment and discovered the bathroom door was closed. She knocked, and Brantley answered the door. But behind him was Alexis lying on the floor of the bathroom, unconscious and only partially dressed. Jones was still drunk and unable to comprehend what she was seeing. But before she could wrap her head around it, Brantley blurted out, "I didn't touch her. I didn't rape her," which is a bizarre thing to say, unprompted. I mean, I'm not sure Jones was even thinking about rape until Brantley mentioned it. He certainly looked guilty. She confronted her boyfriend about why he was in the bathroom with her roommate in the first place. That led to an argument between the couple that culminated in Brantley stealing Jordan's keys and taking her car. Alexis Crawford was still unconscious on the bathroom floor. Jordan called a mutual friend of hers and Alexis named Brittany, who was an alumni of their school and served as their mentor. Jones told Brittany that her car had been stolen and something happened to Alexis. When Brittany arrived, Alexis had regained consciousness and was crying on the apartment floor. What a heartbreaking image. Alexis confided that she was sexually assaulted. Brittany and Alexis reported the attack at around 1 a.m. that morning. Alexis described what she remembered from the attack to the police, which involved unwanted kissing and touching. However, she didn't remember anything else. A rape kit was performed on Alexis at the hospital to collect possible DNA evidence. Sometime after this incident, Jones and Brantley must have reconciled because, while Alexis was recovering from a traumatic sexual assault, Jones snuck Brantley back into the apartment to stay in her room. Can you imagine? Your roommate, who you consider your best friend, sneaks your sexual assailant back into your apartment. Not only that, but when Jones had to attend class, she left Alexis alone with the very man who sexually assaulted her. Alexis must have sensed something was off because she slept on the couch instead of in her bedroom. What an incredible betrayal by her supposed best friend, but it wouldn't be the last one. On October 30th, Alexis's family spoke to her multiple times via phone and FaceTime. She seemed upbeat despite her ordeal, so no one in the family was worried about her immediate safety. It's unknown what her family knew at that point. But the following day, no one in the family heard from Alexis. It was unusual for Alexis to go a day without speaking to any of her family members, so on October 31st, the family became concerned. On November 1st, when her mother Tammy couldn't reach her, she reported Alexis missing. As word spread across campus that a student was missing, Clark Atlanta University was abuzz with people searching for Alexis. Students flooded social media with the hashtag #Let'sFindLex, which gained the case much-needed exposure. Sometimes social media works faster than law enforcement and traditional media in mobilizing a community to help with a missing person case. Jones shared the official missing person image on her Instagram account, captioning it, "This is obviously a difficult time for me, and I just feel helpless. My heart is really hurting right now." Note how Jones made the post all about herself rather than her missing roommate. After gathering evidence and information, the authorities discovered that Alexis was last seen alive on a liquor store camera on October 30th at around 11:30 p.m. Jones and Alexis had gone to the liquor store together. It shows the kind of person Alexis was, that she was trying to make her friendship with Jones work even after the incident with Brantley. However, I doubt she would have felt the same if she knew Jones was hiding Brantley in their apartment. Jones told investigators she last saw Alexis at 12:30 a.m. that morning, before she went to her bedroom for the night. No one saw Alexis alive again. According to Jones, she didn't see Alexis as she prepared for classes the next morning. The following day, the search for Alexis began. and Alexis's family pleaded with the public for information about their daughter. Her parents asked for help finding her. Alexis's friends and classmates searched the campus and around the overgrown grassy area near her apartment just off campus. The entire community hoped to see Alexis come home. While the community was coming together for this search, the authorities searched Alexis's apartment, which she shared with Jones, and found some interesting evidence. There was blood in the sink and a sponge in the sink that contained traces of blood and hair. When they initially interviewed Jones, she said she'd gone to bed shortly after midnight on the night before Alexis went missing. However, security camera footage showed her and Baron Brantley getting into her car at 3 a.m. While investigators were finding more evidence, Jones had left campus and began withdrawing from school. Yeah, that's not a great look. Her classmates must have found that odd too, because they mentioned their concerns to Jones on social media. Jordan jumped on her Instagram story to say, "The fact that y'all are telling everybody to blow my DMs up is beyond childish. How about y'all put that same energy y'all putting in to harass me into finding my friend?" The bloody sink and conflicting security footage allowed authorities to bring Jones in again. And this time, she finally broke. After hours of questioning, she confessed her part in the murder and agreed to lead them to Alexis's body. Jones took investigators to a park in DeKalb County, Georgia, 11 miles from their university. There, Alexis Crawford was finally found. It wasn't the outcome her family was praying for. She was stuffed into a bin, and the bin was tossed over a hill. As the bin rolled down the hill, Alexis's body fell out and landed in the dirt. The hoodie she was last seen in was tied around her wrists, a blue t-shirt around her neck, and she was wrapped in a blue blanket. A trash bag with a hole in it was found near her body. This news was devastating to Alexis's loved ones. The young woman they loved so much had been discarded in the dirt by the girl they knew as her best friend. Investigators arrested Jones and Brantley and pressed them for the entire story. What they learned was gut-wrenching. On the night of October 30th, Alexis and Jones went to the local liquor store where Alexis appeared on camera. After they got back to their apartment, Jones confessed to Alexis that she'd been allowing Brantley to stay in their apartment since the sexual assault incident. Naturally, Alexis felt shocked and betrayed. According to Jones, the two young women got into a physical altercation. Then the nightmare got worse. Brantley came out of Jones's room and began to strangle Alexis. That's where the perpetrator's stories differ. Jones claimed she merely watched Brantley strangle Alexis. Brantley claimed Jones took a black plastic trash bag and held it over Alexis's head to suffocate her while he choked her. Judging by the black trash bag found near Alexis's body, we can assume Jones played a key role in the actual murder. What's more, Alexis's body was found with her hands bound. You don't usually bind the hands of a dead body. It was a convenient detail left out by both killers that could point to a premeditated murder. Jones was caught in many lies during the investigation. While Alexis was still missing, she even called the Crawford family and told them the rape kit Alexis had taken days before came back with no evidence of DNA. But this was untrue. The rape kit proved Baron Brantley's DNA was found inside Alexis several days before she was killed. It's disgusting that Jones would know all of this and still try to protect her boyfriend. That night, after killing Alexis, Jones and Brantley disposed of Alexis like they were taking out the garbage. The couple then returned to the apartment, cleaned up Alexis's blood from the murder scene, then went to bed. The fact that they could sleep after committing brutal murder shows how callous these individuals were, but it doesn't end there. They even went to a Halloween party later that evening. Plus, the killer couple remained silent for over a week, while Alexis's family and friends frantically searched for her, covering their tracks at every turn. Jones even contacted a friend, asking her to lie and say she borrowed the large bin she kept in the apartment to explain its sudden disappearance. Fulton County Deputy District Attorney Adam Abate detailed Jones's behavior after the murder, saying, "Ms. Jones was an active part of the murder of Ms. Crawford helped clean the apartment, and helped stuff Ms. Crawford into a large Rubbermaid bin used for storage or packing things. They put the bin in a vehicle and left her body in the bin in Exchange Park. After the murder of Ms. Crawford, Jones continued to text Ms. Crawford's phone, knowing that she and the defendant had turned the phone off, asking Ms. Crawford where she was, like she was worried. After being arrested and charged with felony murder, Jones and Brantley were denied bond. Jones was considered a flight risk because she had been planning to move back to her family home in Michigan. The trial was delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and the Crawford family is still waiting for justice. Since then, Jones's legal team attempted to get her released on bond, claiming that they weren't given sufficient time to prepare testimony from friends and family in their client's favor. The Crawford family naturally fought against that. Alexis's mother, Tammy, said in a statement, "I cannot imagine a judge granting Jordan the freedom to walk around until her trial, while Alexis will never get to walk around anywhere ever again. Granting Jordan Jones bail would be a slap in the face to me and my family, and essentially spit on Alexis's grave." In 2022, there was a motion hearing to determine how to proceed with the trial. Of course, Jones and Crawford had already turned on each other, as killer couples always do. Each is now pointing the finger at the other as responsible for Alexis's brutal murder. Brantley's legal team argued that he was under the influence of drugs when he confessed and police violated his Miranda rights. On this point, the court agreed. The judge determined that Jones's and Brantley's recorded confessions were inadmissible in court. It's just crazy that two murderers can confess. Because procedures weren't followed, the jury won't get to hear those confessions. Jones and Brantley are pleading not guilty to murder after their confessions were tossed out. Several bond hearings, and 5 years later, they're still awaiting trial, and Alexis Crawford's family is still waiting for justice. It feels like an open and shut case, but it never works that way when it comes to capital murder. Alexis was killed in 2019, and the police got 2 detailed confessions of the crime. But, because police violated the suspect's Miranda rights, getting justice will be more difficult. As always, it's the victim's family that must carry the weight of an uncertain outcome.
Alexis Crawford was viciously killed by the girl she thought was her best friend, and the man who sexually assaulted her days before. She was a wonderful person who was going to make a difference in the world using the 2 bachelor's degrees she was expecting to receive in 2020. She had so many dreams that her so-called friend helped stuff out. This case makes you wonder, how well do I really know my friends? Thanks for listening to this episode of Murder You.
And remember, advocates at the National Domestic Violence Hotline are available to talk confidentially with anyone in the United States who is experiencing domestic violence, seeking resources or information, or questioning unhealthy aspects of their relationship. Call 1-800-799-SAFE 7233.
Abnormia.